Okay, we're back. This time we're gonna be putting engine and transmission back in the MGB GT. So this is what we're starting out with. It is a low miles engine. It has only 44,000 miles on it from original, which is really nice. So, yep, I pressure washed it. That's why it's looking kind of streaky with somebody. At some point, I'd put a coat of paint on it, which kind of got taken off with the pressure washer. But anyways, yeah, this is what we're putting in the car. So it has not run in 35 years, but it spins over pretty good. So I think we're gonna be able to get this thing running. Okay, so I got twin carbs. This engine, this is the first year of this style of carb. Looks a little different than SUs of the previous year. Apparently this is actually a superior carburetor, but it is jetted a little leaner than the previous year, so there was a loss of performance. So anyways, this is one of them, and it has to come apart. So that is what I need to do. Who knows what? Oh. So there's both our carbs. Just plunk them in here for, I don't know, a couple of hours. We'll see. And well, let's see what they look like when they come out. Both rear slave cylinders are seized. They do not move, so those are getting replaced. I've already done the one on this side. This is new. So I don't know if any of you are servicing your MGBs, but if you are, you should always make sure that your adjuster is free and lubricate that a little bit. And you should put a little bit of anti-seize on these areas on either side of the backing plate, because the shoes actually rub on that and they rotate on that. So those are some moving parts. So top tip of the day, lubricate your brake shoes. Okay, so I put new brake slave cylinders in the rear, new axle limiting straps, and don't mind that noise. That's just drunk Paul. And I got a new emergency brake cable right here. So that's all nicely done. And look at this slick little, they got a little grease nipple on here. So there's no excuse for your emergency brake cable getting rusty. So anyways, a little bit of progress. All right, it's another day and we're back in the shop on the MGB GT. So today we are gonna be replacing these old crusty brake lines with some fancy new braided stainless lines. In my experience, these original lines on these MGBs are usually swollen up and constricted and they don't work very well anymore. And this is a really cheap, good upgrade. Gives you better brake feel and everything. And you guys all know that. So I'm gonna be doing that. And also we have some urethane bushings. So I think, let's see. I think these ones are the ones, I think these are gonna replace these ones here. Or maybe it's those ones there. I'm replacing them all eventually anyways. I have new lower control arms coming. I have new lower control arms that are slightly longer and they give the car a little bit of negative camber. So those are on their way too, because these ones I'm sure are bent and no good. Yeah, I was right. This Prothane kit is actually everything. These are subframe to frame pieces that replace the rubber ones. These are lower control arm. This is upper control arm. And yeah, so we have everything we need here to make this a lot more solid, which is most excellent. And all this stuff is like, it's really good prices. I gotta say, like, you know, fixing up an old car like this is a refreshing change over, you know, even things like the Camaro. Some parts are like, wow, that's really pricey. It's crazy how much cheaper all this stuff is. So anyways, that's a good thing. Sometimes when you're doing this on these cars, this fitting is so rusted to the line that it wants to twist the line around. In that case, what I do is, since I'm getting rid of this anyways, I cut the line off there and I spin it. I loosen this nut. This is a nut that holds the whole thing in place. And I spin this end around. So you're spinning it around off of this. And then once you have it off of here, then you can work on putting some, you know, some penetrating fluid in there, or you can heat it up. You can do it that way. Or if you have to, we've actually had cars where we couldn't get that loosened off, and we've had to spin the new brake line on with it on there and have the caliper off and spin the caliper around to tighten it all up and then bolt the caliper on. If you have to do it, you have to do it. I'm lucky on this car that it just, you know, broke loose super easy, so it's no problem. Don't forget your little copper washer. No big deal. It's nothing special about the thread. Any old, I think it's 5/16. I'm not sure. It doesn't matter. Well, there you go. That's almost real time. That's how long it took. Nothing at all. Okay, while we're here, I want to show you guys something. I want to show you my new, what do you call it? Okay, so this is a mechanic stool, okay? And I have a mechanic, this is Paul's mechanic stool. And I had one too. I had a mechanic stool in here, and it's all good. Like, you know, it's a small shop, limited space. It bothered me when I would work on a car here or work on a car there, and I'd be dragging all my tools from my toolbox, which is right there on the corner. All my tools get dragged over, and there's no place to put them, so they land up on the floor. And then when I'm finished the job, having to like make multiple trips back. It bothered me. So I wanted to get a mechanic's cart, right? A cart that I could wheel over, tools in place, whatever. Well, limited space. Paul didn't want one more thing in the shop. So what I did was, Harbor Freight, this is a motorcycle lift. And so this does double duty. I made this little tray, I welded up this little tray. Okay, so that goes there. This is for when it's in its mechanics tray mode, okay? So this is my tray mode. You can see you can lift it up. I put magnetic strips here on the side, so tools can go there, and also you can lay, like as an example, here's my, that can go there, be at whatever level I want it to be, right? All that stuff, that's all cool. And I can have that in there. But when I need a mechanic stool, I can lower it down and I can sit on it, and I got a nice, you know, that rolls around under the cars, and it can do double duty as a transmission lift. If we're lifting up something into the car or a differential, this thing will lift a differential, it'll lift the transmission. Probably not an engine, maybe. I don't know, depending on the engine, I guess. Certainly not that Austin Healey 6-cylinder cast iron lump that we just did in the car. That thing was ungodly heavy. Anyways, yeah, so that's my top tip of the day is if you can't find something that suits your needs, build it yourself. So today I threw a battery in the car and did a compression test, and we had 0 PSI, 40 PSI, 0 PSI, 50 PSI, and it turns out we got stuck valves. So we're gonna, so what we're gonna do is I'm gonna pull the head off, and since the head's already gonna be off, I'm gonna get it shaved, higher compression, do a little bit of porting, and then we're gonna throw it back on. So yeah, bad valves, but you know, the engine hasn't run since 1986. That's Paul. It's his shop.
44,000 miles.
Yeah, I know, it's low miles, but yeah.
The oil that came out after all that time was clean.
Speaking of oil, I didn't have a line on here, and when I was spinning it over to do the compression test, oil went pouring out all over here and down. So we know that the oil pump is pumping oil. That's the good side.
You gotta hurry up and change this piece because this is really slowing you down. This rubber piece right here.
That rubber piece is slowing me down?
Yeah.
Why is that?
This has got to be attached.
What?
For safety.
For safety.
Reasons.
Yeah.
Of course.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, lots of little things. But, and I took this ugly bumperettes off the front today too. I'll go. Yeah. Yeah. But I got the brake lines on, and we have an ignition switch in it, so I can spin it over with the starter and the starter switch up. So, progress. But, yeah, we're going to do something about that compression. So I'm going to pull the head off.
Don't you owe me for the ignition switch?
Yep, I sure do owe you for the ignition switch. Yep, and other stuff too. All right, so I think I'm gonna wrap it up here. Next video is gonna be that head coming off, and you're gonna see what ugliness exists under there and where we go from there.